As Goni said, my name is Himanshu Pandey, and I'm currently pursuing my master's in history from Pondicherry University. And I
Yeah.
have interest in public health, language, culture, and I like to look at the things from interdisciplinary approach. So today, the research that I'm going to present, the formal title is that English as a gatekeeper, student voices on identity and higher education access in Uttar Pradesh region. So this research is very close to my heart because it personally resonates my voice in it. I didn't do this research for the sake of doing research or just to get published, but I thought to do this research because I thought uh, there is a need that we should speak like about this as well. How people say you should learn English; it will give you a lot of uh, fame or opportunities in the future, but nobody tells you the story behind that. When a student like me from a small village in Uttar Pradesh moves to Delhi and then goes to other state for their bachelor's, master's, and plan to do their PhD abroad. So it's really hard. And I think 5 years back, I wouldn't have even thought that I'll do my master's or I can think that I'll do my PhD from abroad. So that is like an impossible thing for me. Why? Just because language, a barrier, English. So my interest in this topic. So just a little bit background. Uh, I did my plus two till plus two from Uttar Pradesh Hindi medium, and uh, I did from till 10th I was at government school. Later I moved to Saraswati Vidya Mandir, and just to give you a nuance of how much Hindi medium it was like, we were not even allowed to say "May I come in." We have to say "Pravesh." That means in English medium schools I heard. Teachers and all, they punish you if you will not speak in English. But in my school, it was different. If you will speak in English, then you will get punished. So that much Hindi it was. Then I got good marks and got into Delhi University to pursue my bachelor's BA program in history and Hindi literature. Then I think in first semester, I thought that is my biggest mistake of my life. That why I came to this university. Really, in the first semester I literally cried. I thought like I should have done the same like my classmates, be in that my district and go some local college to BA and then prepare for competitive exams. But I choose a different way. I like history. I thought I want to do my career. Then I struggled a lot. So there's a different story how I learned English. Uh, thankfully, I had a background in history. That means I started looking at YouTube videos, going to monuments, talking to the visitors, and giving them free tour. That's how I learned English. That is a different topic. So that's how I came to this topic that I wanted to work on. That how English creates problem for students who don't belong to that area, or how English works as a gatekeeper. So for this, uh, you know, I choose a case study of Uttar Pradesh where I belong. Yeah. So for this study, I took a case study of Uttar Pradesh where I belong. There are a different there are different areas which we can take for vernacular studies and for English language. Oh, yeah. Am I visible to you guys?
Yes, you are visible.
Your slides are also visible. We can see your introduction slide, but not in
Yeah,
the
yeah, okay.
slideshow mode. Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
now everything
research.
is visible.
Yeah, yeah, it is
Yeah, yeah,
visible.
yes. Let's proceed. So I took Uttar Pradesh as a case study because I belong there. I had quite uh, the language, and I took in that area for my methodological as well for my methodology because I thought it's a suited. That's why I choose Uttar Pradesh. So the research background for this paper is like, as we all know, India is a multilingual country. There's a saying in Hindi which goes like, you know, coast coast pe badle pani, char coast pe bani, which means like if you even move 4 miles away from your house, the language will be changed. So India is that multilingual country. In that multilingual country, English plays a very important role in educational and professional opportunity. No matter which university, which college, which profession you are going, if you don't know English, you will consider as illiterate, and that is a harsh truth in India today. Though English is not, I don't consider English more than a language. It is just a language. It doesn't show how literate or illiterate you are, but mentality is mentality. So English is become a dominant medium of instruction in higher education in India, especially in the fields of science, medicine, technology. Even though in few universities you can study social science and other related disciplines in Hindi or vernacular languages, but when we move to STEM fields like the medicine, the technology, there is no option than to study in English. And and I think students from English medium schools often have better access to higher education and competitive exams. Uh, that's why there's you know inequality of education in India even today it exists. Students from regional languages like Hindi medium schools in Uttar Pradesh face linguistic barriers and lower confidence. Uh, there's an author and researcher. He explains how language can shape your confidence and your pride in the society. The situation creates inequality in educational access, social mobility, and identity formation among students. So, as we know, even though we don't treat vernacular languages like a language, it's just uh, like if you study in your vernacular languages, you cannot get into anywhere. That is the thinking till now. I remember when I was giving my NET exam, though I had you know kind of favor because even till now in India, NET exam is conducted in two languages, that is in Hindi and in English. But when I came here in Tamil Nadu, in Pondicherry, so there are a lot of Tamil speaking people Malayalam speaking who are not that good at English, they face that problem because even till now, net exam is conducted in only two languages. So that's how English creates inequality between students. A person who knows English better can perform better in a particular exam, and on the other hand, if a person doesn't know a particular language, he will not perform well because just because of the language. So the significance of this language, this study highlights how English functions as a gatekeeper in accessing higher education in India. No matter you are going for bachelor's, master's, or PhD, you will face this problem if you will not able to speak in English properly. I remember I was attending few conferences, and though I am good at not that good, but yeah, I can speak in English properly. But there were few students who were from state universities and who were presenting paper. I remember my fellow presenters, they were mocking that who were presenting because they were saying, see, he or she is a PhD scholar, but still doesn't know how to speak in English. So that kind of mentality, they were not looking at their research, the kind of methodology they have opted, the research, the outcomes. They were just judging them just because of their language, just because they were not able to speak in a particular language properly. So it brings attention to the experience and voices of students from Uttar Pradesh. For this study, I took Uttar Pradesh. So I talk mostly about Uttar Pradesh and Hindi language because that is the case study of my paper. But it also connects with the other vernacular languages as well in India. Uh, and the research gap, it's like why I took that topic because I think it has received a very less amount of focus. So, this research for how the medium instructions influences student identity, confidence, and academic aspirations. You know, uh, suppose you did your plus till 12th in your vernacular languages like in Hindi, and then you move to a university which speaks, whose medium of instruction is English. Then students face a lot of problems in confidence. They do have doubt in the class, but they fear that if they will ask that doubt, the professor will ask something, they will just them on the basis of language or their fellow classmates, they will laugh at him that just because he cannot speak in a particular language properly, so he cannot ask that doubt. So again, it creates a language inequality. Now, educational inequality. It contributes to discussions on language inequality and social mobility in Indian education. And I think the findings of this research can help the educators and policymakers to develop more inclusive language policies that supports both English learning and regional languages. Uh, while presenting this research, I might sound that I'm against English, but I'm not against English. I think there should be a you know what is a balance between both languages, both vernacular languages and English as well. Now, the objectives of this research, the main objective of this research is to identify, to examine how the medium of instructions, English and Hindi influences students' identity formation, to explore the challenges faced by Hindi medium students in accessing higher education. And in that, I have my own experience included and to understand how English proficiency affects students' confidence and future aspirations. And I think English makes a person confident. And I am speaking this because I have conducted this research. If when I was talking to students for my research, and I for that I chose four schools, two from government schools from Hindi medium and two from English medium. So a student who was very proficient, who was very good at English, and the student who was not that good at English. So they both have uh, a very big difference. That was a visible difference. You can see the kind of confidence it holds, the kind of pride. Uh, it is totally visible in that you can see you know how a language can make a student confidence and can break their confidence as well. And another objective to analyze the role of English as a gatekeeper in higher education and opportunities in Uttar Pradesh and the other part of India, and to highlight student perspective and experiences regard language and education. Because for this paper, I took qualitative research. I didn't just based on statistics or data. It's a totally perception based, their own experience based data that I took. Now, so here are few literature. There are a lot of authors, but here are few of my favorites that I took and whose framework I have taken and whose theories and variables that I have used and how it connects to the other researchers. So now, there's an author, Body, in 1991. He gave a theory of symbolic capital theory. So later it will connect with my research as well. So Body says that language works as a symbolic capital. That means if a person has uh, you know better proficient language, it works as a power and wealth in society because he is proficient in language. So what do you call it as a symbolic capital theory that like other capitals like finances and all language also works like that. Norton, in the other hand, they call language as an investment theory. So for that, uh, there are so many places in India that gives English classes, especially English classes like IELTS. That is very, you know, uh, for specific reasons, but there are other coaching centers that gives English classes. Why is that? And they're very always filled with the students. Why is that? Because in India, people consider learning English as an investment theory. That if today we learn English and we'll become proficient, we'll have better opportunities in India and around the world. So Norton called it as an investment theory. Like learners invest in languages and learning to gain social mobility and future opportunity. And uh, they call it language as closely related to the identity formation. Now, the Philippines he calls language as linguistic imperialism. Gives example of English and said English reinforced global power structures and marginalize local languages, the vernacular languages. He said even till now we can see the English imperialism in India, that English is considered as a better language, as very elite language. And on the other hand, even till now, vernacular languages are considered as the third class languages, or no parents want their son to learn or their daughter to learn vernacular languages, because they think if they will learn Hindi or Tamil or Malayalam, they cannot perform well in their future. So, Ramanathan, in his 2005 works, he gives a theory of social linguistic perspective. He said that English creates unequal access, unequal inequality in education. He says, if a student who speaks English, that means he went to a high, a rich school. That means their parents are rich, and a student who speaks uh, a vernacular language or Hindi language, that means he went to a government schools. He is not that well in society. So there's a social linguistic perspective as well. Annamalai in his 2000 work gives the long language policy frameworks, and there he says that even though in India English is considered as an elite language, and still it is limited to private institutions, reinforcing socioeconomic inequality. Uh, Government has tried a lot to provide education, to provide English education in government schools, but there is no visible result in that. And I can assure you that even till now in the schools of Uttar Pradesh, there's no focus on teaching English language. I'm not saying it's important, but it should be. So that's why Annamalai says that still English is limited to the private institutions and to certain class of people. Monty in 2010 he gives the theory of language inequality theory. He says that unequal access to English contributes to educational marginalization in multilingual societies like India. You know, uh, there are a lot of language wars in India, which says like this language can kill this language, can kill this language. But English is the biggest enemy for vernacular languages. No school wants to teach vernacular language, and no, private firm or any other institution they want to opt vernacular languages. So it is creating a lot of problems for vernacular languages, and in a country like multilingual country like India. Now, Gill in 2020, he wrote a thesis, and I like that. He said he talked about identity formation perspective. In his thesis, he worked on students from Punjab. He said, and he gave a theory of identity formation perspective. There, he talked about that uh, students who has English English capabilities, or who are proficient in English, they are higher confidence and aspirations compared to the regional medium students. You know, if a student is from vernacular language, and if you go to him and ask, what do you want to do? Do you want to pursue your bachelor's, master's, PhD? Do you want to go abroad? Do you want to do this and that? He will clearly laugh at you. The same I faced when I was talking to schools. children's, plus two children's, and I asked them, why don't you want to go? Why don't you go to abroad and pursue your bachelor's, master's? There are a lot of scholars, and he said, no, 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 it's not possible. Do you really think it's possible for me? I don't even know English. So that kind of confidence, and it really kills the aspirations of a student. Now, in 2000, yeah, in 2010, there's a theory called global English perspective. It 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 goes like English is considered as a global language. If you know English, it can give you more opportunities, more employment, and it is associated. English is kind of associated with the employment and global mobility opportunities because of yeah, because still people associates their opportunities or confidence or level of literacy with English language. Now, they are the particular authors that I have opted for the framework to study my particular study. There are a lot of other authors. If you guys want to read my paper, you can access. And then the methodology that I have opted for this paper is qualitative research design based on constructive grounded theory approach. That means I have took talk, it's based on people's experiences and focuses on exploring student experiences, perception, and identity formation. I didn't just, worked on secondary data, not just statistics, government reports. I personally went and talked to them. Then I create this paper. There's interpretivist approach, knowledge constructed through interactions with the participants. And I personally took their perceptions about I personally talk to them, and I try to understand their what do they think, their viewpoint. Now, the sampling method. I know it's a kind of boring, but it's important. Sampling method. I did purposive sampling. That means purposefully I divided my group into two different classes. One which belongs to uh, uh, you know English medium background, one which belongs to a Hindi medium background. I also divided them from the socio and economic basis as well. So for this, I took two government schools and two private schools, which they both, government schools teach in Hindi medium and private schools they teach in English medium. And mostly my participants were from 11th and 12th. And I also talked to the teachers and their principal and head teachers as well. So for that data collection method, I have taken semi-structured interview focused group discussions. Though I had a questionnaire, but still I asked questions to them, and I tried to, try to note down their perceptions. It was an open-ended questionnaire. So my methodology answered questions. So interview and discussions captured students' life experiences, directly addressing identity formation. Uh, when I went to talk to them, it was not like I am doing this for my research. It was totally like an informal talk. So I think I had much better data than government because it was not for the research, it was the informal talk. From there, I tried to collect my data. Then there was a comparison between English medium and Hindi medium schools that reveals the differences in confidence, opportunities, and aspirations. I felt that English medium students, they are more confident when it comes to, suppose, uh, what I did like is like I thought to make a conversation between a Hindi medium student and an English medium student. I felt like that is because English medium student is using English words more in their conversation. Hindi medium student is less confidence because he was not able to understand him or uh, or reply him on that level. So it was some problem, and that's how English is creating problems. Thematic analysis help identity recurring patterns such as English. Still, it is a symbol of status. That means rich parents they don't want to touch Hindi in I took in Lucknow, and I got him know that their parents they instructed to school that my son or my daughter should not speak a single word in Hindi, and that's how the schools are forcing them. They said if you speak in Hindi, you will get punished, or you have to pay a certain amount of you know punishment or money, this and that. So they are trying to punish them because they don't want them to speak in Hindi. So that's how, because there is a certain class that they want themselves to be away from the masses. Now, feelings of inferiority among Hindi medium students, that is the biggest thing I observed, that no matter what, even though if a student who has scored 95% in his 10th, but he's from Hindi medium background, he is feeling inferior with a backbencher from English medium student. That is the shocking thing that I felt, that he is a topper in UP board, but still he is feeling inferior from a backbencher who is English medium, just because he speaks language who is not the other person is not able to speak proper. Unequal access to resources, and I think uh, it's not like they don't want to. The government students, they don't want to learn English. It's just because they don't have proper access of resources. Now, these insights clearly showed how English acts as a gatekeeper in higher education. So, the qualitative approach allowed deep understanding, not just numerical comparison, making it suitable for studying identity and perception. I didn't just focus on statistics, data, what data this is, what data that says. If you look at government data, it will say no, there is no disparity between English and Hindi, but it's not like that. It's still there in the base of education. Now, the key findings of my research. First, English as a symbolic capital. You know, English is associated with the intelligence, prestige, and opportunities that students believe that if they will speak good English, they'll have more chances in admission to high, good universities, or they can crack any interview and they can get into any private job. On the other hand, the student from Hindi background, he says, no, I cannot even think to go to university like Delhi University or JNU, Jamia, just because it has English curricular. Their medium of instruction is English. Professor speaks English, students speaks English, the notes are in English, classes are in English. So they think, no, I don't belong there. So that kind of it is kind of stopping them from going into higher education. Identity struggle among Hindi medium students. Um, I felt like that Hindi medium students, they feel less confident when communicating in English. If you'll ask them, okay, just introduce yourself, uh, they will feel less confidence, or they will get nervous, or they will distort, or they will lose all of their mind. They will not able to speak properly. Some even hesitate to participate in class or exams due to language barriers. I felt that. I personally believe that. I personally felt when it comes to lectures that are totally in English medium, uh, those medium of instruction is English, and the student who doesn't speak proficient English, they feel very underconfident when it comes to asking doubts, or even going to the professors asking anything extra. So they don't do that. Investment in learning English. Students actively try to improve their language. They want to invest in their language. I talk to so many students. They say they are going to English speaking coaching, which is teaching them how to speak English properly. And I met while I was collecting the data. I met so many students from schools which says like when they went to plus one and plus two, and they were thinking to go to other universities to pursue their bachelor's and master's, mostly bachelor's. So they are learning English for that. So that means they are investing in a particular language just so that they can have a better access of education and opportunities in future. And that's why English is considered as an investment for future education and careers, though it's just educational inequality. I think that private English medium schools provide better resources and exposure. They have highly qualified teachers. They have good, syllabus. They are focusing on their language skills. So on. On the other hand, government school students often face limited access to English learning opportunities. They are even their teachers don't speak English properly, or even though the teachers that are assigned to teach them English, they are failing. They are not teaching them. Or I was talking to the teachers in a government schools, and I asked them, so like, do you really think the English is improving while you are teaching? And one of the factors I saw is like in government schools, English is considered as a subject, not as a language. They focus more on read. There's a para, just read it and then translate it. There is no focus on learning language in government schools. They are still treating English as a subject, that it's a subject we have to teach them. This chapter we have to ask certain questions, and they will write and they will pass. That's what happening in government. The English as a gatekeeper. After all of that, I found that unequal access to English creates barriers to higher education and social mobility. Students move to higher education from their after their plus one and plus two, and if a plus one and plus two student is feeling underconfident and thinks that he don't belong to that certain place, or he cannot work in that area, then it creates a lot of inequality between education. There's a certain class of the society which is uh, going to higher education, which is pursuing masters, PhD. On the other hand, there are even those are toppers, those are good at mathematics, science, physics, chemistry, literature, vernacular literature, but they cannot go and perform, pursue their dream just because they think that English only works in English, not in their language. Now, the conclusion: what the study did and how. Uh, Firstly, this study took English as things that this study examined the role of English as a gatekeeper in higher education in India. Then it explored how the medium of instruction, English versus Hindi, influences students' identity, confidence, and access to opportunities. As discussed in findings, that we saw that students who are proficient and good at English feel more confident. On the other hand, students who are not good at English, they feel less confident and think that they don't belong to that place, even to that context. The research used a qualitative approach, collecting data through interviews and focus group discussions with the students, teacher, and head teachers from 4 schools to English medium and to Hindi medium. And I think for the future researchers who want to work on this topic, my sample size was small, but I think if I would explore this topic more, I can explore more. I can expand my sample size. So it took a qualitative research. That means it focused more on people's perception and their experiences. Uh, and the interviews, they were mostly open-ended questionnaire. That means I just ask questions and try to uh, understand their perceptions, and I note according to that. Uh, the thematic analysis to identify key patterns in students' experiences, what they feel and what how they perceive. the major the major relationship, yeah. The major relationship identified that the study found a strong relationship between English proficient student identity and access to higher education. That students who are good in English or who are proficient in English, they are more eager to go to higher education. Or I didn't feel any shyness or anything that they want. They don't want to pursue their higher education just because they don't know a particular language. The study from English medium students tend to have higher confidence and clearer academic aspirations. They are more clear what they want to do. They have more visions, while many Hindi medium students experience linguistic barrier and lower self-confidence. I was talking to one of the students, and he said he wants to do civil services. He want to appear in civil services exams, and I asked him what uh, medium are you going to write, English medium or Hindi medium? That student is from Hindi medium. He said, though I don't know English much, but still I'll learn and I'll appear through English medium because the result in UPSC in Hindi medium is not good. Because and I asked them, why is that? He said, because there is no resources in Hindi medium. You have, suppose you want to work on current affairs, there's a Times of India, Economic Times, number of newspapers. You can have data. You can have number of authors, books that are in English, but there is no resource in English. And I think that is affecting the UPSC results. So that's what he said to me, that if he wants to appear in a in a competitive exams, first he will learn a language, and then he will appear in that exam. Then later he will work in Uttar Pradesh in a Hindi medium background where everybody speaks Hindi. But he have to be proficient in English just because write that exam. Aaron. As a result, English functions as both an opportunity and a barrier, reinforcing educational and social inequalities. And I don't have much problem with English. I think English is doing really well. English should be there, but government should also focus on the vernacular languages as well. I think English is a global language. If you want to go abroad, if you even want to go away from your state, you should know English. But as well, people uh, who are studying in government schools or who just don't want to learn that language, or who are much comfortable learning in their language, they should have that option. I'll give you my examples. I'm kind of good in English, and still for my all the exams, semester exams, for my net exams, I still read all the books in Hindi because I think I can more connect with Hindi than English. I don't feel comfortable reading English books, or I think I can understand more better in Hindi. I can connect with the author. I can connect with the language, with the nuances, so on. But students don't have that option, that they can pursue their English and Hindi both at the same time. Now, the implications of that study, there's a theoretical contribution. The study contributes to discuss on language, identity, and educational inequalities in India, particularly in Uttar Pradesh. This study shows that how just because of a language, there's a educational inequality. It extends Bourdieu's concept of symbolic capital. That means that English works as a status. It gives you more confidence and access to higher education. Still, in India, people think that English is like their wealth. If they know English, they can do much better in their life and in the future opportunities. It also supports Norton's investment theory, that I got to know that people are investing in language because they want to have a nice future. They want to do nice in their future. They want opportunities. So that's why they are investing in their future, like their health and their house. demonstrating how students invest time and effort in learning English to improve their future opportunities. Not just they want to learn English, but they learn English because they want a good future and opportunities. That's why they learn English, not for learning a language. By focusing on students' voices from Uttar Pradesh, this study fills an important research gap in Hindi heartland, where limited research exists on the relationship between language, identity, and education. This study is being taken on the core of Hindi, that is Uttar Pradesh, one of the largest Hindi-speaking states, and it gives shocking results. Now, the policy implications of this research, the findings suggest that it needs a stronger English language support in government schools. I support English language, that there should be government support. Government should provide much resources, better teachers, so that we can and reduce inequalities between English medium and regional medium students. English education policies to promote balanced multilingual education, ensuring that students learn English while also strengthening regional languages. As I said earlier, I personally believe that I feel more confident and comfortable while reading Hindi books than English books. But it's not, we don't have this balanced multilingual education, though I have English knowledge that I can translate even in my head and I can write my exams. But a lot of students don't have this kind of you know, you can say background or this, so that they are forced to learn a particular language and they are forced to write in a particular language, like net exam. I'll give you an example of net exam. Suppose there's a Tamil speaking student who are from Tamil Nadu, and like me, he did his bachelor's from state university, which speaks and teaches in regional language, and then he will go for net exam. And student like take example of me, and I can speak and read and write in English. And who do you think will do better in net exam? Obviously, who has much access to that? Just because he has access to a particular language, he will do better in a particular exams. There is no, you can say they are not testing his history knowledge, they are testing his English knowledge. Policymakers should focus on improving teaching resources and language training in public schools. That I face is like there is no resources to learn a new language. There is no training to the teachers that how should they teach a particular language like English, or they should treat English as a language, not as a subject. English is a subject. English is a language, not as a subject. And it will help to provide equal opportunities for higher education in India. Such reforms can help create a more inclusive education system and reduce linguistic barriers that are still present in India in academic and professional opportunities. Even though, suppose you have a PhD interview in India, I don't know, I can finger count universities who took their PhD interview in Hindi, because all the universities they are expect that students they will speak and they will become a Shakespeare in their interview and perform well, but they don't know that why do I speak in Hindi? Suppose I have to work on Cholas in Tamil Nadu. Why English is important for me? I should know Tamil, or you should focus on my Brahmin script more than my English language. But they will judge you, and that we can say we can see all the interviews where there's a competition between an English medium student and the regional medium student. Thank you. Now, if anybody has any questions, they can ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, for your very, very intriguing and insightful research, very in depth and very pressing topic to discuss. A very timely thing that you have taken up, and very, very interesting. And thank you for blending your own personal insights and stories along with your research, which makes it more timely and more pressing contemporary thing to discuss. And without any further delay, I would like to open the floor to the audience for the question and answers. I already wrote in the chat. If you have any questions or if you have any comments, please feel free to write in the chat, or you can also raise your virtual hand and ask or address anything, maybe. Harsh has raised his hand, so please go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Hello everyone. I wanted to ask what about the role of governance right now? Like from the last few years in different states, Hindi and other languages are having issues at different places where students are being targeted, or people who have these language issues at grassroots levels, like even workers or others are also facing such issues. So, do you think it's the students who are affected, or there are other groups? According to me, like even while traveling to other places, I see people who don't know their places language or don't know English. They are being trashed or beaten unnecessarily. Do you think this language becomes even political, socio-political context if it is emerged with politics or other demands at different places in India?
Thank you, Hers. It's indeed a nice question. And first, I'll tell you that language is considered as a very political thing, even from not now, but since ages. Language and politics is a whole different topic that you can talk. That how uh, politics is controlled from languages. We can see from the example of French, English, and then in the back Latin, then Sanskrit. So language played a very political role in each and every society around the world. Now, I think your questions regarding Hindi in India, I didn't understand that. Are you asking that uh, government? I didn't get that. Can you please repeat your questions on
Sorry,
Hindi?
my network was bad. No, okay. They say it's like sometimes people are not even students, even people who are going to work at different places, they also face the same issues. Like they don't know their regional language, they don't know English, or they have some hesitations or stammering while they are explaining. So, do you think at that time what could be the solutions as you are doing research? Because this was a curiosity. Even like few weeks back, there was a session in which in political department there was a question that should Hindi be nationalized as a language or not, which is always a consideration. And every time southern states have a issue that if Hindi comes, that will be an issue. And they consider that one should learn their regional language also at different levels. Do you have any idea or suggestions for this point?
No.
As you have highlighted
Uh,
this, well,
yeah. So I personally believe that suppose I'll give you. I think I'll repeat your question. So you are trying to understand that when we move from one state to a different state, doesn't matter for education or for job opportunities, we face this issue, the language issue. So does Hindi should be the national language or regional language or English? This is your question, right? Am I right?
yes, you are right. That was the point because
Yeah.
you highlighted at one point regional languages also as a solution.
Yeah. So I think that. If you are in a workplace, then you have to follow particular language for that. Suppose if you are working in Amazon in Hyderabad, then obviously you should know English because you are going to handle international clients. Suppose now I came to Tamil Nadu to work in a hotel chain. I'm in a I did my master's in hotel management. I came to Tamil Nadu. I'm working in a hotel. So I cannot expect the people of that area that they should know English or Hindi. That is my responsibility to learn that particular language. Now, that is the biggest problem of uh, people, that when they move from one place to another place, they think that people of that particular area, they will speak their language. That is not true. When we I think that's where the vernacular languages plays a very important role, and we cannot a country like multilingual country like India, we cannot say that this particular language is a national language. Obviously, India, Hindi is one of the largest spoken, language in India, and I think that status is better. There is nothing more than that. When you move to Tamil Nadu, you have to speak in Tamil if you are working in local level. I'm not speaking. You are a professor or in a central university, so somebody should force you. There is no force. You should try to learn the local language where you are moving to that particular state or particular country. Suppose if you want to go to China, Japan, Korea for pursue your higher education in Korea, Japan, and China both. They are there's a compulsory first you should know their language, or if you want suppose if you want to do your PhD in their country, then there's a 6 month or 1 year course for their languages. Then only you can apply for your PhD program in those countries. So that is important. If you are moving to a different place, you should know that place's language. So I think there is nothing we can do. We have to learn the vernacular languages of that area to save their languages. Yeah, please.
Okay, and one more thing, which was the last part for the UP context, I wanted to ask. UP has lots of regional languages, and at different points, people also claim that Hindi is somewhere taking our regional languages also, like Avdhi, Braj, and lots of dialects in different regions of UP, because UP is very wide, Bundelkhandi, different languages are present in the wide context of UP. So, do you think Hindi has a role of submerging other languages into Hindi and trying to kind of decline or dismantle the regional languages also in places like in North India?
No,
Different studies
yeah.
are made
So
where
I
language.
personally don't believe in that. See, I come from Awadh region. I like heart of Awadh, Lucknow. Though my mother tongue is not Hindi, but all these languages are closely associated with each other. Suppose if you are speaking Awadhi or Bundeli or Braj, so there is not much differences, and I don't think that Hindi is killing or destroying those languages. That is not a true notion. Though obviously people are speaking to those languages because they have to move from one places to other places. Like the same, I gave you example of English. Uh, Suppose I speak Awadhi and I don't speak Hindi or English. So how would I communicate with you? So Hindi in UP or other places, that is a simple logic. If you are, see, suppose if I speak Avdi and I don't want to learn Hindi or English or any other regional language, then I have to be settled in my own house. I should not move from my own house. Because if I'll move even for further 4 miles, I have to speak a different language. And I cannot learn the you know, I cannot expect the others to speak my language. So that's how the Hindi in UP creates that, balance of speaking. Hindi is not killing other languages. Yeah, please.
All right, we have. I think Harsh, your questions have been answered. If anything else is there, I do not know. But there are 2 3 things that are happening in the chat, which I am going to read it out. At first, I'm going to address Mani's question. Uh, the person wants to know about your sample questions in the interviews. So if
Yeah.
you can share that with the audience, it would be nice.
Like my question here.
Not your like it. The question exactly says that what were your sample questions in the interviews? Exactly, I
I
think
think
the
for that,
question.
for exact questions, you should read the paper, right? So I can not give you
Do
the
you
questionnaire.
is the paper already published in
Yeah,
some
yeah, it's
form?
published.
Can
It's
you
on
can you
ResearchGate.
share it in the chat so that everybody can have a look at the paper? Or we can also, like, if you consent us, then we
Yeah, yeah,
can
yeah.
also share it in our page so that people can
Yeah,
read it.
so it's on my, actually, it's published by a book
Okay.
center.
So
It's on my
money.
ResearchGate. So I'll give you my ResearchGate profile, and you can access it and have
Okay. Perfect. You can just
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
send it to us in the
So I
link.
think for money, it's better if you look at my paper, because I'll give you a broad idea of my question. Yes, uh, like I told you, there are I took two schools from Hindi medium and two schools from English medium. Later, I asked questions related to their aspirations, what they want to do in their future, what do they think about English. On the other hand, I asked to students from English medium, what do they think about English medium students, their teachers, how they are teaching in English language, and how students are coping up with it. And so, yeah, these kind of questions, to understand deeply, you should go on my research paper. There are uh, all the questions and everything is there. You can have a look. And I'll share the link of that paper.
Yeah, it would be nice if you can write it in the chat so that everybody can
Yeah,
have a look.
because it's very hard to remember each and every question from your questionnaire.
No, no, makes sense.
Yeah,
Then thank you for sharing. Whoever is interested can copy paste the link and get access to your paper, and have a
yeah.
greater reflection on what you have just presented with us. All right, then we have Kushumika. She shared an experience, which is like she says that she has personally witnessed emotional drain when students from different high school background go for higher study, and those who are not from English medium often could not make friends with those speaking fluent in English.
I can also I can feel with it. I told you right in early.
Even to the fellow mates they could not often approach. So that's an experiential insight. And from we also have a conversation from Unnati Singh. She mentions that thank you for such an insightful presentation. I truly appreciated the depth of your reflections, especially your personal experiences, as well as the perspectives shared by the participants. I was particularly intrigued by the issue of prejudice surrounding language itself, whether English or any dominant language used as a medium of instruction. It seems equally important to consider students' interactions at home and how their linguistic environment shape their perspectives on learning. While I strongly agree that primary education should incorporate vernacular languages, a tension often emerges as students transition into higher education, where dominant languages tend to prevail. In your view, how can this conflict be navigated? And what role should language play in ensuring both accessibility and equity in higher education, whilst fostering inclusivity to cultures and other languages? Thank you so much for your time and presentation.
So, Unnati, I think, I read one quote somewhere. So it goes like, I'll give you from English perspective. You hate it or love it, but you cannot ignore it. English is the same. Uh, uh, we cannot ignore English in today's world of globalization. And I think we cannot ignore the vernacular languages as well. There should be a balance between those two languages. And for that, government policies should be like that. They are working towards both the vernacular students and for English medium students as well. I think students should have choice what they want to do. I think students knows better than any other government policy or any other researcher that what do they want to do with their life. Whether suppose I'm learning French and suddenly somebody comes to me and asks. You have to pursue your master's and PhD in French. No, it's not possible. I'm just learning French. It's just I'm learning for my sake of learning, and that doesn't mean I will do my degree in that particular language. But this is not the case with English. Uh, you can thank Britishers or whatever. Now English is globalization, global language. So there should be uh, you know uh, balanced approach with the both languages. I think that works.
All right. Then Kumar, would you like to raise your hand and ask the question, or I would request you to write your question in the chat because the person wrote
I
that.
can.
Yeah,
Hello.
please go
Yeah.
ahead.
So, thank you, Himanshu Pandey. So, I guess he knows me. So, First time I'm hearing from his side. So it was a great experience for me too, because we are same batchmates, but from different university. So my question is slightly different. It's about how when he was doing this research. Himanshu,
Yeah, yeah, I'm
are
listening.
you? Yeah. So when you're doing this research, have you noticed because the eastern region of India, especially the Bihar, UP, Jharkhand, this region and this belt is especially you see there are many institutes, this English teaching institutes, and they are doing big businesses. So how have you seen this sort of uh, about this sort of problem in vernacular languages and those students with not getting the quality of the education, especially if they are pursuing any sort of whatever language. It's totally a different domain, but my question is how you see this capitalist class of English teaching institutions for making profit out of this language, because you're focusing on UP, Bihar, I mean UP region. So it's my question is slightly on that eastern region of India. So the many institutions are there. Means you see in Patna, there are many individual institutions are there which are trying to make money, but they are not providing any quality. But they are also, you see, there are the emerging uh, what you call money centric institutions. So how you see this?
So, thank you, Master, for your questions. Question. It's indeed a nice question. I remember there's an author called Norton. He gave a theory of investment. That means, as you said, there are a lot of coaching institutes that are cheap teaching English. Why is that? Because we consider English as a investment. We are investing on a particular language. That's why these coaching institutions are working, and there is nothing similar for vernacular languages. Like when I came to Tamil Nadu, I wanted to learn English, but I didn't find any similar coaching institutes that are teaching Tamil with the same aspiration or the same motivation. But there are hundreds of coachings in UP, in a particular district. You will find everywhere that are teaching English. And you are right. While I was talking to the students for my data collection, they told me that they are going to that coaching institutes, and I asked them what they are teaching them because I think I mentioned that, and they said they are teaching us grammar, how to speak, how to do that, how to present. So they are not providing the quality that they should provide, and they are charging students a lot. And I think Norton proves it very well because people want to invest in their future. They are ready to do anything. And and I think the base also is creating problem and surroundings. Norton also gave a theory of learning language. He said anybody can learn language at any part of their life. There is nothing, special in it. You can learn language. Just what matters is the resources and who you are learning with. These coaching institutions. They are charging students much, but they are not giving what they should give. So I think Norton explains it very well. Thank you. Is there anything else, Himanshu?
No, I'm satisfied with your answer. So yeah, thank you so much.
Sorry, I was on mute. Thank you for the question and for the comments so far. Is there anybody else who wants to ask any questions? Yeah, Jagoshani, please.
Hi, and sorry I can't turn on my video because of network issues. It was a very nice. I hope I'm audible clearly.
Yeah. You are audible.
Okay. It was a wonderful presentation. Thank you, Himanshu. So I would like to ask you about a particular thing which might not be in your focus, but like I would like to still ask. So basically, recently, like last year, maybe I also worked on a similar topic, but it focused on the role of artificial intelligence, particularly chatbots like, ChatGPT or, similar chatbots in the academic spaces. Okay. So we conducted survey with around like 77, 78 people, like students from Delhi University. So recently, like for the past 2, 3 years, chatbots have kind of like become a very important part of the student community, especially while like for people who are kind of struggling with this language, English. So the findings that we kind of came across was firstly, students thought that these chatbots, they kind of help them a lot, particularly figuring out this language. For example, because academic language particularly is, kind of, you can say, elitist language. It's not like same as, colloquial English or something, we can, use in everyday, for you everyday usage basically. So firstly, it helped them navigate the language, like academic English particularly. They like summarize the papers or like explain them in very simple language, but at the same time or also help them write better in some way without like, I don't know about the plagiarism part very well, but yes, they helped the chatbots helped the students write in a better way. Okay, but at the same time they were also saying that these chatbots also reinforced this idea that if you want to be in academia, you have to write in a particular academic English language. Okay, like so basically currently there's this also this thing that academia is also focusing on how to make research more accessible to common people as well, like so that a larger audience can also be benefited, right? But at the same time, these students are also trying to catch up with the elitist academic spaces as well, that maybe traditional academics or maybe senior professors and senior academics, they kind of encourage you to write in. What would be your views on this particular thing, like the role of AI in this English usage of English in academia? So that would be my question to you.
So, nice questions, but I'll answer you then I'll give you my personal experience. So, I recently went to a conference. I met a person, Annamalai University in Tamil Nadu. So, he's also from history background, and I was talking to him, and he was seemed to, have problem with English. So, I asked him, how did you write your thesis? If you not good at English, then how did you wrote your thesis? He said the AI, the all the chat box, the Grammarly, the translator, this and that. He named a number of websites. So I didn't even heard of those websites. He said from there, first he wrote his thesis in Tamil. Then he translated his whole thesis, PhD thesis into English. So I think these AI chatbots, or I'm not particularly talking about Chat GPT. It is kind of destroying researchers. I'm in support of Chat GPT actually, but you should not 100% write your research from Chat GPT or these kind of chatbots. But yeah, translation, it works. There are hundreds of websites and apps that are translating your thesis or work from one language to another language. Now, the language, the concept of elite language in academic. So it is there. Actually, I'll give you my personal example. I was writing my research proposal to send it to different universities across the world, and I wrote it and I sent it to my professor, master's professor. He said, yeah, everything is nice, very well, literature review, very well, research questions, everything is nice. But one problem is there, the language, it should be a little bit academic. Like you can understand, I can understand now what academic. He said, no, it's not up to date to that academic level language. Like, you know, uh, he marked my whole proposal that the language is not good. And I think I published around 3 research papers, 2 chapters and 1 article. And in all those articles, one of the things that I got back from reviewer is like, your language, it should slightly change. You should not use this words, or you should change it to the more academic tone. So yeah, it is there. And I think I had these questions when I was in DU, and I think Sasi Tharoor came to give a lecture, and I asked to one of my PhD senior in there. I was like, if he can speak in a normal way, why he's speaking in that way? So elitism came in that way, where you see nowadays English, everybody kind of speaks English in academics. So how will you show yourself away from them? The elite, mentality when you are trying to make yourself away from the masses. No, no, no. I will not say as a bad incident. I will say is as a catastrophe happened in India, not as a very bad incident happened in India. So these kind of now I'm sounding very intellectual like that, or nihilifilification or cuts. These kind of languages or words are making me intellectual. So it is there. I mean, the answer I was reading and while I was replying to the professors, I was like, yeah, it is there, and I think also I want my research papers to be written in a language that we can understand. Uh, Sometimes when I read some old books, Victorian era books, so I have to, even though I know English, I have to click a picture, then translate those English into English. Then what does it mean? So, and I think it is happening even till now. It is there. I think the academicians have to work on it, and I think they are working on it to make research more accessible. And I think research is like still whatever research is we are doing is like for the sake of research. We are doing research. One academician is doing research for the another academician, not for a person who is sitting in a village or in a school level. I'm not right. Like they think that I'm not writing this research paper for a school student or for a UG student. I'm writing this research so that somebody from Oxford will cite me, and they will not cite me if my words are not like that, or I'm not using a very academic tone. So I think that is there.
Thank you, so Himanshu. Thank you for answering my question. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Himanshu, for addressing so many questions and so many interactions so far. I cannot see any further questions in the chat, and I would like to use fully this opportunity to myself now because I have been listening to all the interactions and dying to talk. So, yeah, I would say that we are discussing about higher education, but thank you for addressing this brutal way of saying colonial hangover still persisting in higher education and still persisting in the educational realm in India at this stage. And I totally though there was this argument or like not argument but discussion happening over which is more predominant in the global academic course, I really believe the philosophers whom we have uh, even in the past, Marx and all, they did not write in English. They all wrote in their own languages. And if your research is really credible, if your research is really groundbreaking, it would be translated later in English by somebody else who has the proficiency or who has the native capacity to uh, to share your understanding. Basically, maybe the interpretations might vary. That's why it's called a book read by 1,000 different people is 1,000 different books. But yes, it can be happening, like it is possible to translate with uh, proper native skills. So it is not really essential that much that you have to do your research in English, and especially in the superimposed way of writing and doing in English that has been preached and practiced throughout higher education. And not just higher education, I think normal literacy you were mentioning, and also normal primary education level. I think nowadays, even if students or even scholars who are trying to provide tuitions, for example, they ask for somebody who has done their bachelor's, masters, everything from English background or English medium schools. Those are preferred even for recruitment. That's why there are so many school dropouts that are happening. Lot of government schools are getting closed because of these issues, because there are not enough students and they are not getting enough funds, and the governments are unwilling to continue with regional language based schools, because in government schools mostly they are not English medium schools, because in India mostly private private schools which are highly funded, and everywhere it is very capital intensive. So English medium education is much more capital intensive from the very beginning. That's what my understanding is all about. And it is not just higher education that where we are practicing elitism. The elitism is practiced from the ground level. Even when class 1 2 students are going for spoken English career coaching or something like this. And I totally agree with Kushumika, because I studied in Jadavpur University, and in Jadavpur there were some students who came from rural Bengal. At least in sociology, we do not have much books in Bengali, or because in Jadavpur and in Kolkata we speak Bengali as a native tongue. So there were not much books in Bengali, and they were quite accustomed to do their research, or to read their books in Bengali, and they did not able to adapt with English. I agree with your viewpoint in terms of abroad education, that you have to learn some sort of language. But let me tell you one thing: I am surviving in Germany for the past 4 years, and I can only speak basic German. I mean, it is very impossible to actually adapt to the language if you do not have money, because ultimately it's the question of affordability. Language learning or adapting to a new language, it's very much capital intensive as well. Depends on whether you have capacities, then only you can shape your aspiration or investment. That's what I feel, and I wanted to share. I think it is a money making game that is ongoing with the language, and it's a superimposed stigmatization that has been preached and practiced, even as Unnati was saying, in the personal level. Even in the household, many parents are now talking in English, despite they are from different backgrounds or something, just so that their children can adapt to the language or something like that. That is also happening. So this has been like a
Thank you very
colonial
much.
hangover being
It is
practiced.
really nice. It is really nice viewpoint. So
Sorry.
it's a really nice viewpoint. I really like that. Yeah, that is great.
Yeah, because I think it is the question of affordability, and it is the question of social prestige. And in your presentation, the most important point was identity. I think we all wanted to achieve a social ladder, or just by saying English, we gain a certain amount of social prestige or something. So that is the main thing that is driving this pattern of research and everything. Global language, it is of course there, but I really want that regional vernacular language education is also prioritized. And I think Jagoshani also agrees to that, and that's why Socioscopia really allows students, researchers, experts, or any person basically to also present their research in their own language. Even here we try to make it that inclusive, because we really feel that not everybody has equal competence or equal access to resources or opportunities to learn English or to adapt to the newer language. It is an insane expectation from a person to have everything, because we all are coming from different background, and we are never in this together. It is the social inequality that has been persisting, and we are dealing with this. Then it is impossible for somebody to climb up the ladder just like we do in the same way. And we all have to accept our own privileges and make room for others to uh, actually support them in their journeys basically. So yeah, thank you so much for your talk. It is extremely insightful, and I really learned a lot. And it is extensive research. Usually, I ask people that what motivated you to do your research, what is your methodology about, but your presentation did not have these blind spots or anything so far. So I do not have further questions on these aspects. It's very insightful and intriguing. I could do not see any other questions or comments, but I would like to really say, I already mentioned it, Kushumika also mentioned it in the chat, that please fill up the speaker certificate forms, or like the, or sorry, for the audience, please fill up the certificate form, and also the speaker, please fill up the certificate form so that we can share your certificates. And if you want to be a speaker in the Socioscopia's academic discussion series, just like Himanshu, in our next episodes, please feel free to also fill up the speaker interest form, which is attached above in the chat. And without any further delay, I would like to thank Himanshu once again for accepting our invitation to be our presentation presenter for the academic discussion series, as well as Jagosheni, Kushumika, Moharno, Archana, Shoma ma'am, everybody, our interns team, backend team, without whom this session would not have been possible and without have been conducted. So thanks to the entire team, and yeah, uh, thanks. And if anybody has anything to say, otherwise, let's call it a day.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, and especially Socioscopia for giving this platform. And I'd like to come back again. Thank you very much.
Sure, please do. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, Himanshu, and thank you, the entire Socioscopia team, as well as Ghurni for hosting the entire
Thank
session
you.
so in such a lovely manner. So thank you so much, and thank you to the audience as well for joining this session. So yeah,
Thank
good night,
you.
everyone.